Our next fighter making his way to the cage, Hugo the Young Gun Aranda.
Welcome, fight fans, to Club Nokia at LA Live for the University of Mixed Martial Arts Fight Night 5. I'm Rich Slayton, joined by Donna Gonzalez here to call this 127-pound catchweight fight between Daniel Vazquez and Hugo Aranda. Aranda right now making his way to the cage. The second fight here at the U for the 18-year-old. His first fight coming back in December of 2013. A beautiful round one technical knockout over Chris Mendoza.
Yeah, you know, comes from a great gym with great training partners, so that year background of training doesn't tell the whole story. He has some great experience coming into the cage.
Yeah, training partners like Dean Bo Moskowitz, former welterweight champion, and tonight's lightweight contender, Darian D.C. Chapman.
Absolutely. Anytime you can get into the cage with either of those fighters, you are putting some great tools in your belt.
Training under Mark Parra there at House of Champions out in Van Nuys. A super dedicated fighter, Hugo Aranda, volunteers around the gym to help pay for his training. Really great striker. We saw last time, uses feints extremely well. Look for that nasty left hook.
And his opponent making his way to the cage, Daniel Vazquez.
Of Systems Training Center under the long-standing, fantastic coach, Ian Harris.
Ian is such a great coach. He completes his fighters not only in the cage, but he really believes in a strong mental game. So they really consider themselves well-rounded over there at Systems.
Yeah, not only is Daniel Vazquez a young, scrappy fighter, totally clean everywhere, the focus from Ian Harris is on that mental strength. You know, when you hear you're bad at jiu-jitsu, you go get on the mat for jiu-jitsu. But when you hear that you're mentally weak, you don't know what to do. And that's the point of Ian Harris's training regimen, to prepare people to understand what they can and can't control, to make sure they are focused and prepared to step into that cage.
I think that's got to give fighters an edge. I mean, a lot of these guys are really young coming in, and being prepared mentally is just as important as being prepared physically for the fights that you face. Getting in the cage is a whole different animal than training in your gym.
Well, we've seen some great fighters from Systems Training Center. One training partner for Daniel Vazquez is our current lightweight champion, AJ Lavarius.
So both fighters tonight are training partners of the fighters fighting for the championship belt.
Oh, an interesting lower-level matchup, but I think we'll see some high-level mixed martial arts from these two fighters. To get things started, let's go to Salvador Arellano.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Our next fight of the evening is brought to you by Bodybuilding.com. Scheduled for 3 2-minute rounds at a catch weight of 127 pounds. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, a freestyle fighter. He steps into the cage with a record of 1 win and no losses. His 1 win coming by way of knockout. He stands at 5 feet 5 inches tall and weighing at 124.6 pounds. Representing the House of Champions from North Hollywood, California, Hugo the Young Gun Aranda. And his opponent across the cage, fighting out of the red corner, a Muay Thai and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner making his debut. He stands at 5 feet 5 inches tall and weighing officially at 124.6 pounds, fighting with Systems Training Center from Hawthorne, California, Daniel Vazquez. Man in charge of the action, Ray Rothel.
3 2-minute rounds here at 127-pound catchweight between representatives of 2 of the hottest gyms in amateur mixed martial arts here in Southern California. Hugo Aranda of House of Champions in the blue corner. Daniel Vazquez of Systems Training Center in the red corner. It's the U of MMA. It starts here. Quick action here from Daniel Vazquez. A couple punches. those front kicks we saw from Hugo Aranda in his last fight early here in round number 1.
Both of these fighters young but so composed.
Big flurry here from Hugo Aranda. Much like last time, pressing forward, throwing.
Hugo has great control of himself. He has a great mental game also. Really pushing.
Vazquez here weathering the early storm, now putting Hugo against the cage. Daniel Vazquez does look to be a little larger here than Hugo, despite the fact that they are virtually identical on paper.
Yeah, he does. He just has a little bit more size implementing those knees and getting inside of that clinch.
Good clinch battle here from Aranda and Vazquez.
There you go. That's a great takedown for Hugo.
Daniel Vazquez with the takedown. Hugo Aranda working that guard. Looks like he's trying to throw up that Eddie Bravo rubber guard.
Yeah, he's got to get underneath that arm if he wants to go to mission control. But I think Hugo's doing a good job of at least moving, but he just put himself in a really dangerous situation.
There we go, Hugo really tightening that arm bar. Daniel Vazquez doing a great job defending, rolls. And now Hugo switching for a triangle attempt and punches from the bottom.
Yeah, he's gonna want to reach up and grab that shin and tighten that thing up. He's going for the arm bar again.
Hugo really trying to put torque on the arm of Daniel Vazquez, but Vazquez rolling out. Now Hugo's almost got him crucifixed, landing hammer fists from the bottom here.
Yeah, I think Hugo's gonna be able to survive this. But Daniel's doing a great job at controlling him from that position.
Really fantastic round from Hugo
right, ladies and gentlemen,
Aranda.
if you haven't gone to the Armbar Nation table,
That was
Great
fantastic
control
show from both of
there.
them. I think Daniel controlled a little bit on the ground, a little bit more, but Hugo definitely took the stand-up part of that.
Hugo showing those fists early on. We talked about that nasty left hook that he finished Chris Mendoza with in his last fight. Really good job of mixing kicks and punches in and out at that distance. Daniel Vazquez, though, did a good job putting Hugo on the mat, but then he got himself in trouble with that dangerous armbar.
He did. He was in trouble for a second, and then he rolled into what could have been an omoplata, but he was able to escape that.
So far, good stuff from both fighters. Hugo Aranda continuing to show the level of training Mark Parra gives those guys. Get another look at that armbar. Hugo very close with this, but Daniel Vazquez does a good job of rolling out, trying to make sure that elbow isn't facing upward.
I
So
think
he can put that torque.
Hugo needed to squeeze his knees a little bit more on that armbar in order to finish it.
A beautiful round number 1 here in this catchweight bout between Daniel Vazquez in the red and Hugo Aranda in the blue. Let's see what more they have store for us here in round number 2. Hugo still looking very relaxed. Vazquez a little more on his horse now.
Going for that left hook we talked about earlier, Hugo was.
Hugo trying to set up that front kick he likes so much. Become much more popular ever since Anderson Silva knocked out Vitor Belfort with it.
People like to go for that. And you know, Daniel's looking a little bit more winded than Hugo right now.
Knees to the legs here of Aranda from Vazquez.
Nice knee from Hugo. Really doing a good job defending himself up against the fence.
Hugo's wrestling defense so far up to the task. But now Vazquez puts him on his back. Hugo nearly with the guillotine attempt, but not quite locked around the neck.
Now Daniel's trying to pass that guard. Put him right in the guard. And I think he is trying to create space for a triangle.
Well, this is the most difficulty we've seen Hugo Aranda in so far in his short fight career.
He's doing a great job. He wants to reach up and grab that shin, or he's going for an armbar. He's trying to swing his leg around Daniel's head.
He had that right arm secured for a moment, but then Daniel passes out of guard into half guard. Hugo, though, very active off his back here in the waning minute of round number 2.
He's got that butterfly, and he's really protecting himself and not letting Daniel pass.
Daniel Vazquez, not too much offense here on the top so far. 15 seconds remaining.
And there goes Hugo looking for that armbar again. He needs to squeeze his knees.
Hugo Aranda really stretching that arm. Doesn't have it, decides, let's go with some hammer fists.
Great way to end a round for Hugo.
The creativity of Hugo Aranda continues to impress, and also oppresses
It
as
oppresses
well.
certain people. Yeah. I think that speaks a lot to Hugo's composure. He's very composed for an 18-year-old fighter.
Very much so. But let's not overlook the submission defense of Daniel Vazquez. Sure,
that was
Hugo's
excellent.
not doing textbook arm bars, but Vazquez's armbar defense has been right on point.
Oh, he's staying absolutely active and doing everything that he needs to get out of those arm bars. So Hugo needs to talk to his coaches about how to complete that submission, and Daniel needs to keep doing what he's doing when he gets into those positions.
You know, if I have to choose it right now, I would probably have Hugo Aranda slightly ahead on the cards. Probably won by a small margin in the first round, maybe a bigger margin here in the second.
You know, with the half points that the camo system uses, I could see that.
And that's my interesting situation, because Hugo might have won both rounds, but only might be 1 point up. Vazquez could have one big round here and turn the whole fight around.
Yeah, and that's I think why camo designed the rounds like that. These are amateur fights. We're trying to get these guys ready for the pros.
Well, 2 rounds of great action here so far at this 127-pound catch weight. Round number 3 on its way between Daniel Vazquez in the red and Hugo Aranda in the blue.
Both fighters still looking really crisp and fresh.
We've seen less feints tonight from Hugo Aranda than we saw in the last fight.
Going a little bit further than he went in the last fight.
That's also true. A flying front kick from Aranda.
Oh, that was a nice left hook.
Vazquez throwing that outside leg kick, but that stiff left from Aranda counters. Big front kick, left, right.
Very Lyoto Machida. Looking very Lyoto Machida.
Yeah, you saw right there Aranda throwing the no can defend. Now it's Vazquez's turn, trying to land a couple of punches.
Hugo's dropping his hands a little bit and his chin's out there. That has me worried. Daniel might be able to capitalize on that.
Aranda catches the kick, a stiff right. 1 minute left here in the third and final round. A nice 1-2 for Aranda. Vazquez trying to turn around here in the waning moments. But Aranda, a little bit of showboating here.
Look at that.
Circling that right hand.
He's taking his mouth guard out. I don't think that's a good idea. Hugo really needs to focus right now.
Daniel staying focused. Hugo Aranda looking to get a little more tired here in the third round.
Daniel with a half guard. And there he goes. Hugo's got to turn on that defense right now.
Daniel Garcia looking to pass, possibly set up the arm.
And there goes Daniel.
In the final moments of that fight, Daniel Vazquez with a return armbar.
That was really exciting. I was very impressed with the two of these guys.
You know, very interesting. The first 2 rounds, Hugo Aranda all the way, really doing a good job, both with the striking and grappling. But we saw him fade there in that third round.
We really did, and that's what we talked about going into the third round, that Daniel kind of turned it up a little bit. And with the half-point system, it's very possible that Daniel, with the sub-defenses that we saw in the first 2 rounds, could turn around and take this, depending on how the judges saw it.
If not, you might even have a draw on your hands. If you score those first 2 rounds, half point for Hugo Aranda, but this final round, a full point for Vazquez.
I agree. I think that second round could have gone either way.
Very, very close fight between these 2 young fighters, 18-year-old Hugo Aranda and 19-year-old Daniel Vazquez. Will that young House of Champions representative improve to 2 wins and no losses, or will Daniel Vazquez open up his mixed martial arts career with a win? Our judges conferring a very difficult fight to call.
I wouldn't want to be deciding that call on that fight right now.
Very impressed with the technical acumen of Hugo Aranda. You got to wonder what Mark Parr might be saying to him about that third round. We saw that mouthpiece coming loose, those hands coming down.
I don't know if that was him being tired or maybe a little bit of overconfidence, but he was dropping his hands, his chin was really out there, and then he kept taking out that mouth guard. That could have just been him being tired.
You might need to breathe a bit more.
Yeah, in any situation, it's a bad idea. Keep that mouth guard in because you never know when you're going to get caught.
Well, we did see a little bit of showboating there with swinging that right hand.
There was a little bit of the rope-a-dope arms.
But then you have to be very impressed with Daniel Vazquez. Whether it was the feigns of Hugo Aranda or whether it was real, Vazquez sensed a turn in the tide and turned it on there in the third round.
I think Daniel looked great in the third round. He seemed to really be going after what he wanted. He got that submission defense right at the end. I think if he had a few more minutes, he would have really worked hard for that. I don't know if he totally had it locked in, but it was really nice to see him go for the submission that he'd been threatened with twice in the fight.
Well, that's that. We talked about the mental toughness of those
Yes.
at Systems Training Center. That's exactly what we saw from Daniel Vazquez tonight. He made a choice in that third round of how it was going to go and ended in a dominant position.
I like it. I like the mental aspect of it.
Our judges taking their time with this decision. The fight is as close live as it was for you on the screen.
That's always an indication of maybe a split decision.
But looks like we'll finally hear what we have in store for our official decision. It's Salvador Arellano.
30-27. Second judge scores a fight 29-28. Third and final judge scores a fight 30-26 for your winner by unanimous decision. Out of the blue corner, Hugo the Young Gun Aranda.
Congratulations, Hugo. Great job. Very well-rounded. Great job. Very well-rounded. For 18 years old, really killing it out there. How you feeling, man?
Man, I'm feeling good coming out here and performing like that for my second time.
Yeah, you look great out there. Great hands, great groundwork. Anybody you want to thank, your team and stuff?
Yeah, I want to thank all my coaches, especially Caesar, my jiu-jitsu coach. He helped me out on that guard and I didn't even get hit once in the ground.
You look great. Very tenacious. You're a mean dude out there. Let's hear it one more time for Hugo, 18 years old.
Your winner by unanimous decision.
Shout out just to everybody that came out and support.
That's it. One more time for Hugo.
Your winner by unanimous decision, Hugo Aranda.